The Talmud tells us a story. A man came before Hillel the elder, and he asked the wise man to teach him all of Torah while standing on one foot. You can't see it, but I'm standing on one foot. If Hillel could do so, the man would convert to Judaism. Hillel said to him, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to another. That is the entire Torah. Now go and learn." If you think this story is familiar, good catch. Rabbi Buchdahl told it yesterday. But that's okay, because Torah and its meaning, this is the heart of the Jewish people. And according to this story, the heart of Torah is empathy. It is being aware of those around you. It is treating them kindly. Empathy, awareness, and kindness are the very elements that allow for community to be built. This story is teaching that the Torah, the instructions and rules and laws that govern Jewish life, it all has one goal: to bring us together. Judaism exists to foster community, and it comes with its own instruction manual. Jewish wisdom, Jewish tradition, halakha, Torah, whatever term you use for it, we have a body of teachings that we both inherit and continue to shape. Torah and Midrash, Mishnah and Talmud, codes and commentaries, songs and legends. They all add up to a set of instructions on how to be Jewish and how to act Jewishly in the world. Now, this body includes many obligations, which serves a purpose. They show us the ways, large and small, that we become a community. They tell us how to focus on the we and not just the I. They instruct us on how to be good citizens of Judaism. But for most of us, the influence of our civil society has at least as strong an influence on us as Judaism does. American society focuses on creating a sense of liberty, of doing whatever the law doesn't say you can't do. In America and in other modern democratic states, with our laws and enumerated rights, they focus on the I more than the we in our societies. Our civil laws have codified our regard and respect for the individual, in the words of former Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Our individual rights are important, but equally important are our obligations to each other. When American citizenship focuses on the I wonder, what place is there here for we values? Can our Jewish we traditions help us be better citizens of an I society? What does it even mean to be a citizen in this time and place? Voting and paying taxes and carrying a passport, sure, these are all ways of being a citizen. But the humorist and writer and political commentator Baratunde Thurston suggests a different and far wider-reaching notion of citizenship. And it's one that does not require a legal status in a country. Citizening, he calls it. Thurston wants us all to believe that citizen is a verb and not just a noun. Citizening is something that we do. And this definition turns American citizenship from an I project into a we endeavor. So how do we citizen? Thurston suggests 3 principles that underlie citizening: showing up and participating, valuing the collective and seeking outcomes that benefit the many, and fostering our interconnectedness by investing in relationships, which are all 3 satisfyingly Jewish concepts, and I think Hillel would approve. Thurston encourages us as citizens to embrace both agency and imagination. Agency by actively participating in our world, and imagination by teaching ourselves to see past what is, to envision what might become. But we have to leave behind the focus on I in order to citizen, because we can't do it alone. We Jews know that we are more effective when we act together, when we see the we and not just the I. And that is the first step to citizening. Now, citizenship is of immediate importance to us all, not just because of an imminent midterm election, but because of a looming authoritarian crisis around the world and around the corner. Representative Jamie Raskin acknowledged this when he was here on this bima with us last winter. When asked by a member of our community about the current state of democracy, he said, "The problem is there's a bag of tricks that are being used against us, like the gerrymandering of our districts, like the use of the filibuster to stop voting rights legislation, like the voter suppression statutes. We've got to deal with that." Representative Raskin is right. There is an undeniable rise of suppressive and reactionary political parties around the world. These would-be despots would like nothing better than to silence their citizens. But they can still be stopped. Representative Raskin finished his answer about democracy by saying, "But I'm with John Dewey, who said the only solution to the problems of democracy is more democracy. Because the will of the majority is in favor of democracy and human rights, here and in Ukraine and all over the world. I've got no doubt about that. And that's vindicated every single day by the people I encounter." The people he encounters are us. We must all be the ones who stand vigilantly in favor of democracy and human rights. The question today is, can Jewish wisdom help shape us into the active citizens that the world needs right now? How can our body of tradition make us more informed, engaged, and perhaps even hopeful? One of the things that defines us as Reform Jews is how we see tradition as an invitation, not an obligation. As Reform Jews, we aren't obligated to follow every mitzvah, but instead to discern and choose our spiritual and civil path through this world, using the values infrastructure that our tradition gives us. But we must understand our tradition in order to choose the pieces that are most inspirational to us. In Judaism, we learn that the most important thing we can do in life is learn. A famous sugya, a section of Talmud, lists the good deeds we can do in the world, a list familiar to us from our Elu Devarim prayer this morning and from Rabbi Buchdahl's sermon yesterday. These things that we can do include honoring our parents and visiting the sick, offering hospitality to the guests, and accompanying the dead. But then the passage concludes that the study of Torah is equal to them all. Now, with all respect, Rabbi Buchdahl, you and I come to different conclusions about this passage. While it may be teaching us about pride in our actions, in our Jewish lives, this text is also showing us the value of study. Engaging with Torah is equal in value to the sum of all the other good things we can do in the world. So, clearly, learning is of the utmost value to us as Jews, as it should be to us as citizens. But that is not the only lesson in our tradition. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel taught, study is not the most important thing, but actions. So we also learn that the most important thing we can do is do, which is another important lesson for us as citizens. But wait, if learning is the most important thing, and if doing is also the most important thing, which is the most important thing? Trick question, it's both. Rabbi Shimon HaTzadik, Rabbi Simon the Just said, Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al haTorah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al gemilut chasadim. And if I'd thought in advance, I would have asked Dave to play that as I said it. The world stands upon three things: on Torah, on worship, and on deeds of loving kindness. The world stands on study, on faith, and on deeds. In addition to faith, we need both study and deeds, because learning and doing both build our faith in this world. Learning is important because it leads to action. The study of Torah is equal to good deeds because it leads to them. But the good deeds only matter when they result from intention, the intention that learning imparts. The modern reform values of learning and questioning and discerning turned out to be also our most precious ancient values. We know what Jewish tradition asks of us. The answer is in our ancient ancestors' response to God at Sinai. They declared, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. As Jews and as citizens, we are called to learn. But we can't just sit and listen and discuss endlessly. We have to go out and act. Because as Jews and as citizens, we are commanded to act. But we can't just jump up at every provocation and go and act rashly. We have to listen and learn. We have to embrace all of it. Na'aseh v'nishma, Torah, and gemilut chasadim. Learning and doing, acting and listening. This is how to live the best possible life together in community. And I can't think of a better definition of being an active Jew. I also can't think of a better definition of being an activated citizen. Jewish traditions and laws were once described by the American legal scholar Robert M. Cover as a bridge. They link the reality we exist within now to an imagined alternative, connecting what is to what might be. Jewish wisdom and our mitzvot, in other words, are a bridge to the world that we hope will exist. It's a world that will only come into being if we believe in it, and a bridge that only exists if we choose to walk across it. That means that Jewish tradition must rely on its faith in us and in our optimism for a better future for its activation. It's when we learn about our traditions, when we seek counsel from our received wisdom, that we can begin to envision a more perfect future. A bridge to a better future. That's also what citizenship is at its core. To be a citizen, according to the British writer John Alexander, it's not about doing something for people, but about inspiring something in us, to be participants in a purpose. In other words, citizening is a bridge we build together. The beauty of communities and societies and nations is that they need not be static. With the right vision and the right bridge, they can become something more. So this year, I invite you to add to your Jewish understanding, to hone your Jewish lens, and in so doing, to fully engage both your Jewish and your civic life. This year, I invite you to become an active citizen of your Jewishness and of your world, because we can also become something more. Remember Baratunde Thurston's 3 aspects of citizening: participating, valuing the collective, and investing in relationships. Turns out we will be glad to help you springboard into all 3 this year at Central. Participating. I invite you to show up at Central in person or virtually, for Torah study and for speakers and for performances. Beyond these walls, you can choose to learn about issues facing your neighborhood and your city. You can ask questions and seek answers from a variety of sources. And if you see something that you want to change, figure out how we can help you change it. Valuing the collective. You can join a central social justice initiative that benefits the many. And outside of our congregation, if you've noticed places or spaces where certain people are kept out, find ways to invite them in. Or follow another former Supreme Court Justice's advice, Justice Stephen Breyer, and join a school board or a parks committee. Form a social group in your neighborhood. Investing in relationships. If you're a member, join or start a central core group. Whether you're a member or not, have Shabbat dinner or lunch with someone you love or might learn to love. But most importantly, here and elsewhere in the world, we can all forge relationships with people who are different from us in their age, their gender identity, their culture or religion, economic status, immigration status, or political affiliation. And we must really listen to them. As Rabbi Jill Jacobs writes, we all benefit from the Talmudic tradition of dialogue, in which various questioners and commentators engage in an often messy conversation that eventually leads to a fuller understanding. Disagreement is uncomfortable, but it's also crucial to engage with if we want to live in community. Participating, valuing the collective, and investing in relationships. We have a word for this in Judaism. Hineini, here I am. As we just heard Cantor Pearsall chant, Hineini is Abraham's response to God's call. It is the word in our tradition that indicates full-hearted presence and commitment. As Jews, we are instructed, we are commanded to be active in our world. And we are also instructed and commanded to learn about our world. Learning and acting. The two things tradition tells us we must do as Jews. Jewish wisdom can teach us to actively citizen in every aspect of our lives by bringing the values of our Jewish we society into our American I lives. We might build a bridge to an America that values the community as much as the individual. By learning and doing this year, we can show up for our Jewish lives and our civic lives with one word on our lips: Hineini.
I will open my eyes. I will not look away. I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice. My voice is powerful.